a very good morning. It's 10 a.m. You're watching the breakfast news on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Karnataka agrees to release Kaveri river water to Tamil Nadu as per Supreme Court order. Chief Minister says that the state will approach Apex Court with modification petition seeking changes to the order. MPs of all party delegation to Kashmir to meet to chart future course of action. Centre likely to act tough against separatists for refusing talks with delegation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leaves for Laos to attend the 14th ASEAN-India Summit at Laos today. Says strategic partnership with ASEAN important for safeguarding and promoting security interests. Syrian government forces accused of dropping barrel bombs containing chlorine from helicopters on a suburb of Aleppo. 80 people reportedly injured. Emergency workers say people suffered breathing difficulties. And Caroline Wozniacki makes it to her 5th US Open semi-final. Will take on German second seed Angelique Kerber. India's campaign ends with Sania Mirza and doubles partner Barbara Strykova crashing out of the quarterfinals. Well, there has been a militant attack on an army convoy in Kralgund in Kupwara in Jammu and Kashmir. Well, the latest reports say that 3 army jawans have been injured in the attack. Search operation is on to nab the militants. This is the second terrorist attack on an army convoy in the valley since the July 8th killing of Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist Burhan Wani. Last month, 2 soldiers and a policeman were killed and 5 soldiers injured when an army convoy was attacked on the Srinagar-Baramulla highway near Khawaja Bagh in Baramulla. Well, the Kashmir all-party delegation will meet in the capital today to discuss the future plans for Jammu and Kashmir. Unhappy at the stubborn refusal of Hurriyat leaders to meet the all-party delegation, the centre may announce tough actions against the separatist leaders, making their foreign travel difficult and scaling down the security. The centre will also scrutinise their bank accounts and complete pending investigations in cases against them. This after Home Minister Rajnath Singh briefed Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the situation in the valley on Tuesday. Rajnath Singh also discussed the issue with BJP President Amit Shah along with Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, Minister of State Jitendra Singh and BJP General Secretary Ram Madhav. Meanwhile, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti also hit out at the separatists for spoiling and insulting the spirit of Kashmir. Mufti criticised their action of shutting the door on members of the party delegation, thereby stalling the process of finding lasting peace.
वहाँ क्या-क्या विषय लोगों ने ऑल पार्टी डेलीगेशन के सामने आया और उसके आधार पर आगे क्या विचार करना आवश्यक होगा जम्मू कश्मीर का, इसकी लेकर थोड़ी बहुत चर्चा हमारी हुई है। पर इस विषय में आगे जो भी कार्रवाई के संदर्भ में बोलना होगा, कल एक बार फिर ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग के सामने चर्चा होने के बाद सरकार ऐलान करेगी।
Meanwhile, fresh violence has been reported in Kashmir. A man was killed on Tuesday in Anantnag district. He was identified as Nasir Ahmed Mir and was killed when security forces tried to chase away protesters in Sir Hamdan area of South Kashmir, even as many other people, including a woman, sustained injuries. The clashes disrupted normal life for the 60th day in a row in the valley. Meanwhile, Pakistan violated the ceasefire agreement once again, firing on Indian positions in the state.
Curfew was lifted on Tuesday from Srinagar, but people stayed off the roads due to a shutdown call given by separatists. Movement remained restricted in the old Srinagar city and Pulwama district. The Kashmiri separatists who refused to meet a parliamentary delegation led by Home Minister Rajnath Singh over the weekend extended the shutdown call till Thursday.
Rajnath Singh has been desperately trying his best, and I have all my best wishes for him. But unfortunately things are not seem working. This all-party delegation should have gone there in the very first week of, say, 10th or 15th, within 10th and 15th of July itself. There can't be preconditions like, if Hurriyat says that, well, AFP, SPA should be first removed and then we will talk, was act of high-handedness. We cannot tolerate that. We would consider withdrawal of that act, but first and foremost position was to bring peace in valley, for which they should have come.
The unrest in Kashmir has so far left 73 people dead, 71 of them civilians. Thousands of stone-pelting local residents are being led largely by young people, complicating efforts to tackle them. The valley has been under lockdown since 8th July, when clashes erupted after security forces gunned down separatist militant Burhan Wani.
Well, look, it may have been too much an all-party delegation to come up with a solution in 24 hours. What is important is to meet and to show that we are interested in contact and dialogue.
अगर सरकार में ही लोगों का विश्वास उठा हुआ है, अगर आप ही ने कुछ ऐसी हरकतें की हैं जिसमें विश्वास नहीं बन पा रहा है, तो बाकी पार्टियां कुछ भी कोशिश करते हैं। पिछले 8-9 महीने से जम्मू कश्मीर में एक तरीके से ज्वलंत स्थिति बनती चली जा रही है। बार बार सरकार से कहा जा रहा है, लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री अपने पूर्वानुभासों से हटकर सही में कश्मीर की समस्या को अगर एक मानवीय और देश के नागरिक की समस्या समझें, तब तो हल होगा ना मसला।
हमने हर वर्ग को बुलाया था जम्मू कश्मीर के, और सबने बड़ी अच्छी तरह अपने पक्ष को रखने का काम किया था। स्पेशली स्टूडेंट्स ने, प्रोफेसर्स ने, वकीलों ने आकर अपने पहलू रखे, और मुझे लगता है कि उन सब पर 7 तारीख को चर्चा होगी। जिन लोगों को न्योता दिया गया था और वो नहीं भी आए, कहीं ना कहीं आज उनको अपना जो जमीन है उसको खोती देख वो इस तरह के कदम उठा रहे हैं।
On Tuesday, Pakistan violated the ceasefire agreement by attacking Indian posts in Jammu and Kashmir. Spokesperson of the Defence Ministry, Lieutenant Colonel Manish Mehta, said Indian troops gave a befitting reply to the unprovoked act.
Since midnight, Pakistan has carried out unprovoked ceasefire violation in Poonch sector, and they have also used mortars to target Indian posts. Indian Army has responded appropriately and effectively to this ceasefire violation.
Pakistan fired mortar shells on Indian positions along the line of control in Poonch district.
वादी वाले इलाके को वो निशाना बना रहे हैं, तो अभी तक नुकसान का तो कोई पता नहीं चल रहा है, लेकिन अभी तक भी वो फायर है, तो लोग काफी डरे हुए हैं। घरों के अंदर सहम बिल्कुल बंद हैं, बच्चे जो स्कूल नहीं जा पा रहे हैं।
No casualties or injuries have been reported so far. Local residents said the firing began from Pakistan's side during the wee hours and populated areas were targeted. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, in a snub to India, the Karachi Chamber of Commerce cancelled an event of the Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan, Gautam Bambawale, at the last minute, apparently over his remarks on Pakistan's interference in Kashmir. Bambawale, who is on his first visit to Karachi after assuming charge in January this year, was told about the cancellation just half an hour before the invite, for which was received and accepted by him a couple of weeks ago. The organisers did not give a reason immediately for the cancellation. However, the Indian officials feel that Bambawale's comments on Pakistan's interference in Kashmir, which was India's internal matter, rattled the Pakistani authorities, prompting a cancellation. In other news now, Karnataka has decided to abide by the Supreme Court order and release Kaveri water to Tamil Nadu. The decision was arrived at an all-party meet called by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. The move came on as a day when protests broke out in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu over the issue. While protesters in Karnataka are against the release of water, Tamil Nadu says that the water is inadequate.
Despite severe hardship facing by Karnataka state will release water as directed by the orders of the Honorable Supreme Court.
Karnataka Chief Minister informing about the decision arrived at after a nearly 3-hour-long all-party meeting convened by him over the Kaveri order by the Supreme Court. Karnataka has, however, decided to approach the Apex Court with a modification petition explaining the difficulties in implementing its order. It is seeking changes in the order of release of 15,000 cusecs of water per day to Tamil Nadu for the next 10 days.
State will approach the Supreme Court and also Supervisory Committee for further directions.
The development coming on a day when normal life across South Karnataka was affected due to a bandh against the discharge of Kaveri water to Tamil Nadu as per the Supreme Court's direction. Agitated farmers and pro-Kannada activists held protests in Mandya district, blocking all major roads and highways. Traffic between Bengaluru and Mysuru was severely affected as protesters held dharnas at more than 20 places on the highway connecting the two cities. Protesters also mobbed and ransacked public buildings and pelted stones at trucks plying on the roads. All colleges, schools and business establishments in the district remained shut. Tourist spots in the area were also closed due to law and order problems.
ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ 10 ದಿನಗಳ ಕಾಲ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ 15,000 ಕ್ಯೂಸೆಕ್ ನೀರನ್ನ ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. 10 ದಿನ 15,000 ಕ್ಯೂಸೆಕ್ಸ್ ನ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ 13.29 टीएमसी तमिलनाडु ಸೇರ್ತದೆ.
हमारा को इधर कर्नाटक में रामनगर जिले बेंगलोर मैसूर मंडिया उधर हमारे को पीने को पानी नहीं है. उधर वैसे हमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ऑर्डर किया है कि हमारे को पानी कावेरी का पानी दो बोल के. अभी हमारे पास पानी पीने को नहीं है तो हम उनको कहां से दें पानी.
This despite an appeal by the state government to the people to not take law into their own hands.
Supreme Court is the highest court in the country. We have to oblige, but at the same time we have to convince the supervisor committee. The matter is going before the supervisor committee. We have to convince that. My appeal to the public is that don't resort to agitation or anything, and keep calm, and we will make all efforts to protect the interest of the farmers.
Opposition parties also questioned the poor performance of the state's legal team for being unable to properly represent their case.
We don't have water. For even drinking purpose, we don't have water. Forget about irrigation purpose. Request our Chief Minister to go appeal, explain the exact position to the Supreme Court.
Protests also erupted in parts of Tamil Nadu. Farmers from the Delta region took to the streets expressing unhappiness over the apex court order, claiming 15,000 cusecs of water was inadequate for their farming needs. Bus services from Tamil Nadu to Karnataka were also suspended.
The Tamil Nadu government has sought for 50 TMC feet of water, but the Supreme Court has given us only 15,000 cusecs per second for 10 days, which comes around, say, 12.5 TMC feet, which is much below what we had expected. The only worrying aspect is that the Tamil Nadu government is not doing enough to ensure that there is proper pressure on the central government and the appropriate authorities to ensure there is water release.
On Monday, the Supreme Court directed Karnataka to release 15,000 cusecs of Kaveri water per day to Tamil Nadu for the next 10 days. The court said this was being done to ensure that the samba crop in Tamil Nadu survives. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, moving on now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has left for Laos's capital Vientiane a short back to attend the 14th ASEAN-India Summit. In a statement ahead of his visit, Modi said that the partnership with ASEAN is important for safeguarding the security interests and countering traditional and non-traditional security challenges in the northeastern region. On the sidelines of the summit, Modi will interact with the leaders of participating countries to discuss bilateral issues of mutual concern. Talks on issues such as maritime security, terrorism, economic and socio-cultural cooperation will also be on the agenda of the Prime Minister. Modi will also attend the 11th East Asia Summit in Vientiane tomorrow.
India is scaling up its cooperation with ASEAN in the political security sphere, primarily focused on traditional and non-traditional security challenges facing the region. We look forward to working closely with ASEAN on counter-terrorism, on anti-piracy, on cybersecurity and maritime issues.
Well, it is day 2 of the Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi's UP Kisan Mahayatra. Today, he will be travelling a distance of 98 kilometres covering Gorakhpur, Sant Kabir Nagar and Basti districts. On the first day of the yatra, Rahul met farmers, promising them loan waivers and reduction in power tariff by 50% if voted to power in the state, which goes to polls in 2017.
हमने ये यात्रा इसलिए शुरू की है कि हम नरेंद्र मोदी जी पे हिंदुस्तान की सरकार पर थोड़ा दबाव डालें, किसान की जो समस्याएं हैं, किसान के सामने जो दुख है, किसान के दिल में जो घबराहट है, वो हम मोदी जी के कानों तक पहुंचाएं.
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi sounding the poll bugle for the assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh on Tuesday. Gandhi tried to woo farmers through his 2,500-kilometer long Kisan Yatra, which began from Deoria district.
सीधी सी बात है, हिंदुस्तान का जो किसान है, अगर आप उसकी इकोनॉमिक्स में जाएं, अगर आप उससे पूछें कि भाई आप खेत में पैसा डालते कितने हो और निकलता कितना है, तो आपको सीधा बता देगा कि जितना पैसा मैं डालता हूं उतना पैसा खेत से निकलता ही नहीं है. ये हिंदुस्तान के किसान की सच्चाई है.
The Congress leader began his yatra interacting with farmers with a door-to-door campaign. Later, at a Khat Sabha, the Congress leader came down heavily on the Union government and Prime Minister Narendra Modi for neglecting the farming community.
उन्होंने किसानों की बहुत बात की, कहा कि हम किसानों की रक्षा करेंगे। हिंदुस्तान की सरकार किसानों की मदद करने की सरकार होगी। मगर दुख की बात यह है कि जब से उनकी सरकार आई, सिर्फ उत्तर प्रदेश में नहीं, पूरे हिंदुस्तान में किसान को भूल गए हैं।
The yatra has come in for a lot of flack from the opposition.
That wherever in the past Mr. Rahul Gandhi had gone for such yatras, that has proved as the antim yatra of the Congress party, and the Congress had been nailed there. The same is going to happen in Uttar Pradesh as well. Though this appears to be a save Congress yatra, they are trying their best to save the dwindling stakes of the Congress.
चुनाव के मौके पर आके यात्राएं करते हैं, असल में बाकी समय ये मौन रहते हैं या कुछ और भी ऐसे कामों में व्यस्त रहते हैं जो जनता से जुड़े हुए काम नहीं हैं।
खाट जानते नहीं, न कभी उस पर बैठे हैं, न कभी किसी गरीब आदमी की चिंता की है। राजनीति कोई पिकनिक नहीं है।
However, at the end of the Khat Sabha, hundreds of cots brought in by the party for the event were taken away by onlookers, many of them arguing it was given to them by Rahul Gandhi. The Deoria to Delhi Yatra is part of the Congress campaign to end its 27-year exile from power in Uttar Pradesh. Rahul Gandhi will also hold roadshows at various places during the Yatra. During the Mahayatra, he will cover as many as 233 assembly constituencies to reach out to the people. Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, we'll slip into a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Life after death was a cardinal belief in the Harappan civilization. Reflecting this is the skeleton of a middle-aged woman with gold bangles. Excavated from Rakhigadi in Haryana, it's an example of the burial practices in those times. Much like the Egyptian mummies, vessels, eatables, ornaments were kept near the dead body, in the hope that they would be of use to the person in the next world.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Well, defiant Arunachal Pradesh Governor Jyoti Prasad Charajkowa may be sacked after his refusal to heed to the centre's advice to him to step down. According to officials, the action may come after the special session of the Arunachal Pradesh Assembly, which is meeting for 2 days from today to ratify the Goods and Services Tax Constitution Amendment Bill. Rajkowa said that he had been asked to resign on health grounds weeks after the Supreme Court had restored the Congress government in Arunachal Pradesh and censured him. Earlier, Arunachal Pradesh governor has refused to resign, saying that he wanted the president to dismiss him. AAP's Punjab Women Wing Chief Baljinder Kaur today filed a complaint with the State Women's Commission against the party's Delhi MLA Devinder Sherawat, alleging he was defaming the women in the state. This comes a day after Sherawat wrote a letter to the AAP National Convener and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, alleging that women were being exploited in return for tickets to fight Punjab Assembly polls due next year. Meanwhile, Anna Hazare on Tuesday said that he is very saddened to see that some of Kejriwal's colleagues have gone to jail while some others are indulging in fraud. He also said that he had high expectations from Kejriwal, with whom he has worked in the past, stating that the concerns raised by social activist Anna Hazare were genuine. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister and AAP leader Manish Sisodia claimed that the party took quick and strong action against anything found wrong in the organization. Amidst all this, ex-Congress leader Jagmeet Brar said that he will extend unconditional support to the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab after forming an issue-based alliance with the party.
ठीक है, पक्ष और पार्टी निकालता निकालो, लेकिन पक्ष और पार्टी से कोई अलग उदाहरण निर्माण होगा ऐसे मुझे उम्मीद था, लेकिन दुर्भाग्य है कि 6 मंत्री में 3 मंत्री घर जाने की नौबत आ गई। मुझे बड़ा दुख हुआ।
अन्ना जी ने किसी भी सामान्य नागरिक, अन्ना जी तो बहुत पूज्य हैं, अगर कोई प्रतिक्रिया ऐसी दी है तो वो संज्ञान में लेने योग्य है और हर राजनीतिक दल को शुद्धिकरण करना आवश्यक है।
आज जो हम देख रहे हैं वो तो कथनी एक तरफ, करनी बिल्कुल दूसरी तरफ। आम आदमी पार्टी व्यवहार में दूसरों के स्तर पे है, लेकिन भाषा, उच्चारण, चोगा, पाखंड, वो सब महात्मा वाला है। अब ये चल नहीं सकता।
ISRO is all set to launch the GSLV F-05 carrying advanced weather satellite INSAT 3DR from the spaceport of Sriharikota on September 8th. The 29-hour countdown will begin at 11:10 a.m. today. GSLV F-05 in its 10th flight would launch the 2,211 kilogram advanced weather satellite INSAT 3DR into geostationary transfer orbit. The Mission Readiness Review Committee and Launch Authorization Board have cleared the countdown and the launch on 8th September. INSAT 3DR will provide a variety of meteorological services to the country. GSLV F-05 is the flight in which the indigenously developed cryogenic upper stage will be carried on board for the 4th time during a GSLV flight. The previous launch by ISRO on a geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle was the launch of GSLV D6 carrying the communication satellite GSAT-6 on August 27, 2015. Here's a look now at what else is slated for the day today in our segment, The Day Ahead. Arunachal Pradesh will conduct a two-day special assembly session to ratify the 122nd Constitutional Amendment Bill or the GST Bill, requiring ratification by half of the 31 state assemblies for it to become a law. The Constitution Amendment Bill has already been ratified by 17 states. The government has set a deadline April 2017 for the GST's rollout. The bill has earlier passed by the Parliament. Delhi High Court will continue its hearing on a PIL on dengue cases. The High Court has directed the Aam Aadmi Party government and civic bodies to take all preventive steps to control dengue, a mosquito-borne tropical disease. The PIL, filed by an advocate in the wake of dengue deaths and cases in the national capital, has alleged that the authorities concerned have not been rising up and taking measures to prevent the disease or mosquito breeding. Samajwadi Party Supremo Mulayam Singh Yadav will today kick off his party's campaign for next year's assembly polls from his parliamentary constituency of Azamgarh. Mulayam's decision to start the campaign is significant as Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi started his month-long yatra to Delhi. The state court in Bonn in Germany is likely to give its verdict on the plea of 84 Russian para-athletes challenging the ban from the 2016 Paralympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. The entire Russian Paralympic team has been barred from the Paralympic Games that starts in Brazil. Last month, the Court of Arbitration for Sport upheld the International Paralympic Committee's decision not to admit any Russian Paralympians to the Games. Going on to some international news now. In Syria, government forces have been accused of using a helicopter to drop 2 barrel bombs loaded with chlorine gas on residents in the eastern city of Aleppo. According to the Syrian Civil Defense Group, a rescue workers organization said that 80 people had suffocated in the attack. However, no deaths were reported so far. The injured children were in hospital after the chlorine attack. Health workers were seen pouring water over them and providing oxygen masks to help them breathe. While the Syrian government has denied of any involvement in using chemical weapons during the ongoing civil war. The Syrian army also could not be immediately reached for comment on the allegations. Earlier in August, a UN-led investigation found the government had used chlorine on at least 2 occasions. Here's a roundup of the other international news and world wrap. The United Nations Security Council strongly condemned North Korea's ballistic missile launch. It also threatened further significant measures if it refuses to stop its nuclear and missile tests. North Korea has repeatedly flouted Security Council resolutions demanding an end to its nuclear and ballistic missile activities and has continued to launch missiles, mounting tensions on the Korean peninsula and in the region. Earlier on September 5th, North Korea fired 3 ballistic missiles into the sea off its east coast. A fire in Northern California has destroyed at least one home and burned around 600 acres of land. The saddle fire began last Monday as 5 smaller fires in the state's Butte County. The fire threatens 300 structures and has forced a mandatory evacuation of the surrounding area. Officials are still investigating the cause. At a campaign rally at the University of South Florida, U.S. Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton criticized Trump's recent trip to Mexico and termed him as temperamentally unfit and totally unqualified to be president of the United States. The U.S. presidential campaign's focus shifted to national security on Tuesday. She warned that in terms of fighting terrorism, Trump is placing the United States in even greater danger than it already is in with a secret plan to destroy the Islamic State, saying that the secret is that he doesn't actually have a plan. In Los Angeles, nearly 24 people were injured when a Metrolink commuter train carrying nearly 200 passengers crashed into a semi-truck. 21 people were taken to area hospitals with minor injuries. Dozens of firefighters and medical personnel rescued the 187 passengers on board the train. The crash occurred at an intersection and a crossing guard arm appeared to have been snapped. And finally, here's some sports news. News from the US Open, where India's campaign ended today after 7 seeds Sania Mirza and Barbara Strykova crashed out of the quarterfinals. The duo lost to women's doubles top seeds Caroline Garcia and Kristina Mladenovic 7-1-6. Sania Mirza was India's last representative at the US Open after Rohan Bopanna and his Canadian partner Gabriela Dabrowski lost in the mixed doubles quarters on Monday. In the singles, Caroline Wozniacki made it through to a 5th US Open semi-final after Latvia's Anastasia Sevastova bowed out due to an ankle injury in their quarter-final clash. Wozniacki will play German second seed Angelique Kerber in the semi-final, who defeated 2015 finalist Italy's Roberta Vinci 7-5, 6-0 in straight sets. And in the men's singles, top seed and defending US Open champion Novak Djokovic advanced through to the semi-final after Frenchman Jo-Wilfried Tsonga retired from the match following a knee injury. This has been Djokovic's 3rd win by default in 5 matches so far at the championship. Lucas Pauli, who beat Rafael Nadal at the US Open, also ended after his run ended after he lost to fellow Frenchman Gael Monfils in straight sets in the quarterfinals. That's it on this edition of the Breakfast News. Have a good day.